In today's video, let us try to understand some of the very important terms related to heredity lesson. Until unless you understand what is the meaning or the definition of these terms, you cannot understand the topics in the better way. Because when we were students, our teacher used to tell something alleles, genes, and something tall, something short, cross, all that terminology, she used to just use it. So we were not clear about what were the definitions of all those. So it was quite confusing at that stage. So I want to make you clear with all the terminology, the definitions and all, so that you can understand the topic in a better way. So let us proceed and see the different definitions in the lesson. So first is heredity. As I have already told you, it is the transfer of characters from one generation to another generation or from the parents to offspring. Okay. So here actually in this lesson, okay, the daughter generation would be called, okay, by the term offspring. It is called offspring. Okay. Then let us start with the definition of the gene. So gene is also called as exon. Gene is also called as exon. Many a times there is lot of confusion about this particular term. So as I have already said, that there will be a cell, within the cell there will be a nucleus, within the nucleus there will be chromosomes, and within the chromosomes, which are structures like this, okay, we have what is called the DNA, which will be, okay, double helical structure inside this one. So this is actually our DNA, which is the deoxyribonucleic acid. It is the deoxyribonucleic acid. So what is gene then? Gene is nothing but it is the functional unit of the DNA. See, within the chromosome, okay, we have the DNA. Within the chromosome, as I have said, okay, we will have the DNA like this. So this is the DNA, which is a double helical structure, which will have several base pairs. It is several base pairs long. So out of this entire DNA, some portion of the DNA, as I have shown in the red color, okay, will be functional. Whereas some other portion will be just, okay, non-functional DNA, which is also called the junk DNA, or it is called the intron. It will just add up to the weight of the DNA, but it will not perform any of the important functions. So when you talk about DNA, when you talk about gene, it is the functional portion of the DNA which is responsible for a particular character in the individual. So here the functional portions that are there within the DNA, they are called the genes, or they are called the exons. So these genes actually, okay, a gene when it is present, how we will come to know that we have the gene or not? It will produce what is called as protein. So a gene always expresses as a protein, and this protein component that is formed, it will be causing, okay, the development of a particular character in the individual. So gene actually will produce a protein, and this protein is responsible for the development of the character in the individual. So more the amount of protein, more okay, pronounced will be the character. So your character actually is getting formed because of the gene through the protein, So that protein actually will be responsible for exhibiting the character in the individual. So this is how a gene, okay, transcribes to protein, and it will be responsible for a particular character. Okay, so it transcribes and translates to a protein actually. So this is all about the gene. So hope you understood what is gene. Okay, talking about allele. Many times in this lesson we will be using the term alleles. So what are alleles? So if you have to understand alleles, okay, as I have already told you that, okay, cell which is called the zygote is formed by fusion of the male and the female nucleus. The sperm and the ovum nuclei will fuse together to form the zygote. Okay, so we are all as such, okay, we have developed from the zygote stage. So when the zygote is getting formed, as I have already said, we will be receiving the chromosomes from the father and also from the mother. Okay, so like this, suppose, okay, in the zygote stage, if I say that, okay, we have received one chromosome from the father, one chromosome from the mother, like this. So altogether we have 46 chromosomes. So each of the chromosome, one from father, one from mother, like that we will receive, and we will have 23 pairs. That is first chromosome, one from father, one from mother, and likewise all the 23 pairs of chromosomes will have one from the father and one from the mother. Okay, So paternal and maternal origin. When the chromosome is coming from father, it is called paternal origin. When it is coming from the mother, it is called maternal origin. So zygote will have chromosomes of both paternal and maternal origin. Now talking about what are alleles, because a zygote will have two chromosomes, one from father, one from mother. Whatever may be the number of the chromosome, it will be represented in two structures, like one from father and one from mother. So what are alleles? Alternative forms of a gene. As you can see here, alternative forms of a gene are what are called as alleles. Now what is this alternative forms of a gene? Suppose, I have, let us suppose I have, gene for tallness. Somebody say that I am tall, and because I have the gene for tallness. See, this particular character of tallness is because of two alleles which I have received from my father and mother on the respective chromosomes. Here, I have represented the tallness as H, or you can represent it as T, whatever is the terminology, whatever is the alphabet you feel like, you can represent. Here, time being, I am showing that, the gene for height I am representing with letter H. So, I am tall because I have received two of the genes from both the parents. But these two genes are responsible for the same character, that is height. So these two forms, are called the alleles. So alternative forms of a gene. Suppose, if the height gene is represented as H, it has got two alternative forms, capital H and small h. It can exist in two alternative forms. So those are called the alleles, alternative forms of a gene which are responsible for the same character. They're responsible for same character. If it is capital H or small h, it is responsible for the same character, that is height. So those are called alleles. So why there will be alleles? Because we are receiving the maternal and paternal chromosomes. So each of the gene will be represented in two forms like this. So alleles are capital H and small h. So when these two are there, it does not mean that always, one of the chromosome will have capital H and the other chromosome will have small h. It is not like that. It can be of any combination, that is, both the chromosomes when you are receiving from your parents, they can have, both these chromosomes, they can have, both capital H or capital H and a small h, or small h and small h. The combinations can be anything. So the combinations can be anything. But what I mean to say is, when you talk about the height character, it can be present in two alternative forms, that is capital H and small h. So these two alternative forms of a gene are called the alleles, which will be responsible for the same character. So hope you understood what we have discussed. So gene is the functional portion of the DNA. So out of the entire DNA, some of the DNA is just the junk DNA. Suppose in your class of 30 students, some 10 students are very active and they give answers for all the questions. Those are the genes. They express themselves. Whereas some students will be there who will not answer any questions. They just sit dumb in the class and they just add to the attendance. They are the junk DNA, or they are the non-functional DNA, or the introns. So just to make it clear for you, I have taken this example. Don't mind. Next we will be, we have discussed about alleles. Alleles are alternative forms of a gene. So any particular character, when it is getting formed, it will be decided by two alternative forms of the gene, which will be present on the chromosomes received from the father and the mother. So that's why a gene can exist in alternative forms, which are called alleles. So these two are called the alleles, the dominant form or the capital form and a small letter. So usually with alphabets, they will be representing these alleles, which are the alternative forms of a gene. So hope you followed.